everyone for joining us. We are kickstarting this year with a phenomenal session and a focus session on implementation of generative AI in healthcare. So last few years, there's been a lot of work that has gone into the research and development. This year, if you see from even the viewpoint of some of the largest companies like OpenAI, Claude, Anthropic, and many others, Google Health, they are very focused on the implementation aspect. And I can't think of a better team than my friends from Chile, who I made a visit last year to showcase some of the amazing work that they have done in this space, share their knowledge, share their learnings with all of us. So again, thank you everyone for joining for this very, very exciting session. For those, and I see many who are joining us for the first time, want to talk about BrainX Community. We started this as a platform, as a community, around 7+ years ago. We initially were having these sessions in person, but then, of course, with all the international growth that we have had, we have been doing these monthly webinars and these educational sessions. We have 7,000 plus diverse members from across the world in our community. We have a very active LinkedIn group, which shares a lot of scientific information and opportunities to come together and collaborate. We have our website, which acts as a repository for a lot of information. I'll go through that briefly. And as I said, we do these monthly live sessions to showcase the research and development work done by experts from across the world. So this is our website where our landing page where you can find the latest information and updates. We have our Connect segment where we have the upcoming sessions or the past sessions listed over there. So even if you miss it, you can go to that section and it'll take you to the YouTube channel that we have with the name of BrainX Community, and you can watch the prior sessions or the sessions of your interest. As I said, we have a very active LinkedIn group where we share a lot of scientific information, publications, upcoming conferences. So please join that. It goes with the name of BrainX Community too. Within the website, we provide a curated list of publications which might be of interest, which have gotten a lot of interest. Of course, we can't provide the publications directly, but we provide you with links to those publications. And we also categorize them for different healthcare specialties so that you can look at the specialty of your choice or the research interest of your choice. Everyone is looking for open source data to work on these models. So in our data section, we provide the largest repository in the world of open source data sets. Again, we can't provide those data sets directly, but these are open source data sets which have minimal data use agreement for research purpose. They are again categorized so that you can look at the data set of your interest and fire up your Google Colab or Jupyter Notebook and start working on your models. We have our podcast series, which features eminent people from across the world, talking about their journeys, their vision for the future. We're going to revive it this year and have a different flavor. So watch out for that space. Everyone is looking to connect, looking for places to present their work. So we have a meeting and conferences section on our website, and you can find the upcoming meetings or conferences related to AI and healthcare. And hopefully we can meet over there in person, or hopefully you can showcase your work and present your work over there. Couple of books that we authored last year. The Voices of Innovation for AI is something we're very proud of, where a lot of BrainX community members contributed to that book, showcasing their work. So you can feel free to purchase that. But the one that I'm really excited about is today's session, welcoming Fernando, Alejandro, and Jaime from Clínica Alemana in Chile. Again, amazing group, amazing team. They've done spectacular work, and they're going to showcase their work related to implementing generative AI in healthcare and share their experiences. So with that, I'm going to welcome Fernando to take it off from here.
Thank you, Dr. Matur. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. Thanks, BrainX AI for the invitation. It's an honor to be able to share some of the work we've been doing at Clínica Alemana for the past few years regarding AI system implementations and LLM based systems. So actually, we're going to start with Alejandro. Alejandro, I think I see you connected. I don't see you with the camera. Um, Alejandro is going to start our presentation, introduce a bit of the work. Then I'm going to try to do a live demonstration of some of our systems. And finally, I leave you with Jaime, who's our CMIO at Clínica Alemana, and he'll do the closing statements of the presentation. So, Alejandro, you can take it from here.
Great. It's a pleasure to be here. Please let me know if you can see my screen and
We see you.
hear me.
Yeah.
Yes,
We
I
hear you
can.
Okay.
and see you.
Okay. Great. It's an honor to be here. Thanks, Piyush. Our presentation is named From Concept to Clinic. Okay, we are trying to show what we have implemented with large language models that into the electronic health record. The team is Dr. Jaime de los Hoyos is our Chief Medical Information Officer, Fernando, who is the lead product owner in the Alemana IA, and I am the Chief Digital Transformation Officer. Clínica Alemana de Santiago is one of the most important clinics in Latin America. Here you have the numbers. We have a lot of research in this facility. We have two facilities, two hospitals, and we have a good place to test and to make different implementations and check what's working on and what's not working. So to start with the challenges we are facing, I think that everyone is facing the same problems, or maybe I don't know if it's are the same problems, but are feel by the population in the same way that the healthcare system is not working properly, and the idea everyone who's on technology that technology is the one who can fix these healthcare problems, and that's partially true, I think. But the problem is when the technology is like it's a promise, like it's a magic fix. So there is a promise step where you can see this kind of assessments like, oh, this technology will save us. It's a game changer. And the idea of the promise is that there will be fast results with no friction. Just add the technology and we will solve the problem. And then you have the adoption phase when everyone starts to say, okay, we need a quick win. Let's run a pilot. Everyone is doing it. We can't get left behind. And huge expectations about the implementation of the technology. Then you have the reality check that sometimes data isn't clean enough or it's not fitting the workflow. You have cultural issues when trying to implement technology in your facility. And finally, you have the real value step when you narrow the use case and you understand that the technology is good, but not for as a game changer. It won't fix all the problems. It's just a fix of some little problems. So I like the buzzword waves in healthcare as every technology will be a game changer. It will save us. It will really fix it. And I think that one of the the very early ones was internet. Internet will fix it. Internet will be the game changer. Then the smartphone, the mobile apps, the big data, the Internet of Things and the wearables, blockchain, AI, 5G, metaverse, and you can see people from who is very distinguished, people who they're also sometimes with this kind of promises like 55% of healthcare applications will adopt blockchain for use by 2025. I don't think that happened. Okay, so we have a lot of expectations. We are part of this kind of movement of expectations, and sometimes we promise something we cannot deliver. And I would like to focus on two technologies that now finally save us. Okay, the latest ones, AI agents. Last year was the, the the new buzzword that will save us. And I think that this year, on the next years, will be AI agentic robots. So we would like to introduce what we do. Our bet is to test fast, learn faster, and understand very fast what technology can do and what cannot do, and making short pilots, having clear decisions, documented learning, and our main signal is the culture and adoption. That's what we focus. We implement technology, we test it, and then we see what can the value we can receive from that implementation. So we measure if it's actually used or if it's just something that is implemented but no one is using or it's using very partially, who use it, when and why, how is this being implemented in the workflow, what do people say, what do people say about what the technologies we are implementing in the electronic health records or in different systems, and if it creates value or not. Okay, what are the outcomes, the time saved, the safety, the experience. We have some strength, local environmental strength. The laws in Latin America are different, like US and Europe. This has some pros and cons, but sometimes we can pilot different experiment easier. We have a homegrown electronic health record. That's the main driver. I think that can we can show different. We can implement whatever we are seeing that is a technology that maybe usable in our system. Okay, so we can be checking the publications and then trying to replicate one of these technologies into our systems. We have a huge focus on innovation and technological forefront, and we have also the biomedical informatics department that is working full time to make these things happen. So this is our agentic plan. Our agentic plan started on October 2023 with a product called Alemana GPT in our electronic health record. Check that ChatGPT was launched on November 2023, and a year after, we implement large language models into the electronic health record. So we have 2 years of experience of what is used, what is valuable for our users, and what is not. Then on March last year, we implement the Agentic system, the Alemana Agentic. So and Fernando will be presenting this. This is the tool called protocol with in our electronic health record. Then we implemented a medical scribe into the electronic health record. We pilot this project for about 1 year, and then we implemented recently in the electronic health record. We have planned for this year. There is an integration between the MCP protocol and the agent-to-agent protocol. So we will be implementing this this new protocol to work with multiple agents and to make a multi-agent approach in our implementation. And we are also working, we are on the early stages or controlling hardware, okay, with our agent systems, controlling hardware, and initiate this robotic agent era, where you can implement different robots to deal with different situations where you need hardware to solve, or hardware to handle different tasks in the hospital setting. So this is our agentic plan. Fernando will be take control and show you what we have done with a short demo.
Thank you so much, Alejandro. Thanks for sharing that vision and all the amazing work that your team has. It just amazes me how connected you are and your team is with what's happening in the leading areas of the world with this, and you're already implementing a lot of this work. So that is congratulations to you and your team for doing that. And it'll be great to see some of the live demos here. So thank you, Fernando.
Yeah, thank you. Does everyone hear me all right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit louder might be better.
Yeah, there I
Yeah.
can. Okay. So, oh, sorry, let me just jump to my slides. Sorry for that. Here. So, I'd like to, in the next few minutes, take you with us in the journey we've had since 2023. What Alejandro showed with the Alemana GPT was our first implementation. And this came up pretty naturally because in 2023, everyone that was related in somehow to technology was using and was starting to use as a user, and for personal and work related tasks, ChatGPT 3.5 and onwards. So of course we, as medical informaticists and medical practitioners, the three of us and many of us in the department are medical or health practitioners. So we thought what problems that we were currently facing inside our clinical systems, and mainly our clinical health records, it's called Nucleo. What of those problems could we solve with the at that time available technologies, with the LLMs that we were using every day? So Alemana GPT was a very technological wise was very simple. It was we built pre-generated prompts and pre-programmed context, and we put those in as prompts for non-conversational limited functions, and we put those in buttons that you could actuate from the EHR in different places. So some of the use cases we identified that were at the time we thought low risk but high reward using these systems were, for example, performing short summaries of patient encounters, or restructuring and correcting grammar of ongoing clinical notes. So here in this short video, you can see how this is our EHR Nucleo, and you can see beside a clinical encounter, you could ask Alemana GPT to perform a short summary. And as you see, and this is part of our philosophy at Clínica Alemana, every output that that comes from a AI system or an LLM-based system, we tend to never use that as a final output or input into our clinical health record, but rather it always has an intermediate step where we ask the user to approve or edit and critically think about what the output of these tools was. Another example, here we have a mainly unstructured clinical note, and we just asked Alemana GPT to put it into a structured template. And again, you have to review it, you can edit it, and then you can put it into your clinical note. So this has been part of our philosophy since the beginnings of the LLM-based systems that we have implemented. But while we were implementing Alemana GPT, the pace at which all these systems and LLMs were evolving already let us dream about having a conversational, because these tools were all non-conversational for us, because the risk was too much. But we were already dreaming about having a kind of a co-pilot AI assistant inside our EHR that we can present to our clinicians in order for them to really talk with the EHR in a more organic way. There are so many aspects about a classical EHR that are lost just because of the high volume of information that lives inside our EHR, that we saw that many parts of those were actually in practice inaccessible for the user. So how can we use this in a conversational way to let it be accessible? And so we thought that the internal knowledge we had developed in that first year or so was good enough, but there might be other people outside our organization and institution that might have better ideas on how to actually come up with this conversational agent. So what we did was we came up with a primer of how we thought, architectural wise and system wise, how we thought that the system would look like. And then Alejandro posted on LinkedIn a call to proposals from the industry. And these could be lone individuals or huge tech companies. We didn't really care. And to our surprise, we had many proposals sent in. We reviewed 17 of them after our first filter, and then interviewed a few of them. And to our surprise, the best evaluated proposal was not from a huge tech company, and there were some, but from this single individual who's Giorgio Cabrera. I don't know if he's currently at the meeting, but he's a medical technologist. He was working at the time for a public hospital, not as an informaticist. And he came up with a really good and fitting proposal. And he actually told us that the way that we had conceived it in this primer wasn't maybe the best way to do it. We conceived that the best way was to use classical RAGs. At the time, RAG was appearing as a very powerful tool. And he showed us maybe RAG wasn't the answer for every case scenario inside the tool usage for our system. So because he was a lone wolf, he hadn't any prior experience in working with such a huge project. So we connected him with a partner that we have had for many years, this company called Hiccups. They've done great work with us in for us. So he's actually been working with other people in a team with us since then. So we wanted to develop an assistant for the EHR, but we soon realized that in order to do that, we had to first not only have a robust backend, but also develop a agent management system. Because in order to be scalable and viable in the long term, we needed an intermediate system where we could actually manage and program and configure this agent. So some key aspects before I show you the live demo, I'm going to switch over to that system. We are currently using commercially available LLMs. We do that through cloud enterprise AI platforms like Vertex or Azure AI Foundry. And that was a logical step for us because we already used those in our technological stack. we are mostly model agnostic. That means that we don't care what company currently provides the best LLM for our agents. We just test them all, or whatever comes and is available at the next step. So that also gives us leniency towards our implementation. So all the systems I'm going to show you today have no fine-tuning, the ones that we're showing today. But that is probably also a logical next step for our systems. We use open source frameworks such as LangChain and LangGraph in order to orchestrate our agents' workflows. And we have developed many tools, and the way they work is very much dependent on which source they are going to retrieve from. So some of them are going to perform direct execution or querying over some knowledge base or information systems, and other are going to use classical RAG system with vectorial search. Yeah, sorry for those. This may be a bit more technical, but I'm sure there are some of you present that are interested in the more technological part. So now I'm going to switch over to Alemana. Please let me know if you see the screen all right. This is the view from our agent management system, Alemana. And I'm going to show you some of the important tools that we have here. So let me start by going to the actual agent configuration. It's important to note that when we built this, we thought we were building a management system for agents for our EHR and clinical system. But after a year or so, we noticed that this agent management system was good enough and easy to use enough that we could actually share this with other areas and departments of our institution, and is now becoming, slowly but surely becoming, the main agent management system of our whole institution. So now there are agents developed for that are patient facing, that are maybe administrative tools. So they all live here now, but that was something that we didn't conceive at the beginning. So let me switch over to the permanent project. Actually, let me do a quick refresh. And now I'm going to go to the projects. I am a global admin, so I have access to many of the projects inside our Alemana. Here you can see some of the agents that are configured for our EHR. This is all test environment, so no sensitive information will be showed today. And let me just quickly show you how one of these agents actually look inside our management system. So one single agent has a name, has a description, and has an ID. This is a very important part, which is the system prompt. And some of you might or not be surprised by the English system prompt, even though the user mostly interacts in Spanish. But to this day, in our testing, we still see sometimes better performance with some models when the system prompt is in English. So that's something inherent to current LLMs, right, by the technology. So we write these prompts. At the beginning, we did it all by hand, so to say, with human prompt engineering. But now we have shifted to a hybrid method where we almost always tend to use meta prompting techniques and use other models in order to come up with the best possible system prompt for a single agent. So that is a pretty standard system prompt for one of these agents. Here we can configure parameters, again a bit more technical, but we tend to use very low temperatures and high top P, but below 1 in order to limit some of the token sampling that the model performs. Here is one of the important parts where we select the models. These are all the models that are currently deployed for this particular project. These are all pinned versions of these models, so there is no model drift. There's of course risk of other types of drift, data drifts, etc. But the model itself is a pinned version. For example, this one is based on Claude 4.5. And next we have to select the tools. As Alejandro anticipated, we're now shifting to a hybrid method. Prior to this, we only used local tools, but now we can connect the agent to MCP servers and do both if we want to have local tools and also model context protocols, server-based tools. And finally, here is where we can select all the tools that are available to this project for this particular agent. And here we have, for this agent, tools that can retrieve information from clinical notes, our lab systems, imaging reports, etc. So this agent has currently 27 tools connected to it, and I'm going to show you how it works inside our EHR. Lastly, here is the playground where we can actually test these models without having to deploy them inside our EHR. And the important thing is I can not only test out, refresh. I can test out the one agent I'm currently configuring, but I also can let this agent compete with another agent that might have differences just in configuration, for example, a different system prompt, or might be even based on a different LLM. So I can actually use maybe the same system prompt and try it out with Claude and the other one with Gemini or ChatGPT, etc. So let me just select another random one. So now I have two different agents, and I can perform the same prompt, give it the same prompt at the same time, and they should start to resolve the task in parallel. So this is critical for the starting point of the testing we do with these agents. Here you can see, this one is not configured for patients, so it actually didn't perform any tool calling. This one is actually performing how I would expect it because it's the one I programmed for our EHR environment. So this I'm going to show you inside the EHR, but I think that was important to see. The other final aspect I'm going to show you from Alemana Agentica is the analysis tab, which consists for now it has this dashboard where we can see a lot of metrics for the project and the agents inside of that project, number of conversations, usage in time, which users are actually using it, which tools are being called upon the most, and this part lets us know which of the conversations are taking the most time in order to let us review them to see what is actually happening with those. Is it taking too much time to do the function calling, or is the LLM just processing too long when it's answering? And finally, if you have the necessary permits as a user and the correct profile, you can audit the agents you have access to with all the conversations. And this is also very important to us because when we receive feedback from the users, the clinicians that have permission to audit this, we can actually go to the complete conversation and see all the interactions that were performed and see, first of all, what the clinicians and how the clinicians are actually asking the question, and what new tools, for example, where are our tools not performing the way we actually hope they would. So that's the other thing. So there are other functions we're trying to grow, and one of the key aspects for us right now is developing more analysis tools for the agents, automatized analysis tools. But I'm going to switch over to our EHR. This is our EHR. I'm inside a test patient, inside a test environment for our EHR. And you can see I have here on the bottom corner, left corner, a EA, it's IA, because in Chile it's Inteligencia Artificial button. The first time you go into Alemana IA, you'll always see a short tutorial, which tells you how to better ask the questions, but also tells you about the risks and the ethical guidelines and best practices for asking questions inside the system. So we always try to educate and promote critical thinking and review of these systems. So now I can already talk with the Alemana AI tool, and I have some prompts here prepared. So now I'm going to ask it to give me the clinical history relevant to abdominal pain for this patient. So this is maybe not the most safe scenario, because I'm actually giving leeway to the system itself to decide what would be pertinent for abdominal pain. But it is prompted by the system prompt and the tool usage in such a way that it automatically performs 3 tool usages, and now gives me the answer based on those. For us, it was very important from the beginning, that we not only had the right tools so that this information was correct, but to let the user actually see which information the retrieval was based on. So when I click on these tools, you can actually see the real content that was extracted by that tool from the patient's EHR. So much of this content is a bit nonsense, because it's just a test patient. So the poor guy has like a lot of diseases, but you can see here, these are the clinical notes that were relevant for the question in hand. The same with the diagnosis, and here it's medical history, structured medical history inside the EHR, and here clinical notes, complete clinical notes. I could also ask it to retrieve lab data, for example. And the way we actually approached this, at the beginning we had a singular template for each tool in order to show it, but because we were seeing how many tools we were actually needing for this system, we now render everything in Markdown. So we have one single template in order to show everything that is retrieved by any tool, and we can control that Markdown template from our Alemana Agentic system. So now you see, in order to come up with the last lab results, it first used a tool that showed me all the available labs for this patient, and afterwards it selected via the pertinent IDs. It performed a search in the lab database of the pertinent results. So, and here it's presenting, of course, again, this test patient has a lot, so it's not representative of a real life patient, but it was still able to perform the task at hand. And with that, I conclude the demonstration, and if you have questions, you can do that at the end. And now I leave you with Jaime, who's going to present the last part.
Thank you. Fernando, could you please, do you still have the presentation open?
Oh yeah, I can share it. I don't mind, yeah.
Just I think it might be.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was very interesting, and I find it very exciting to see how it has all come together over the last months, right? What you've seen is several things at once. You saw our custom EHR Núcleo, which I will refer in a second, and all the innovation and innovative technologies that we are able to implement over it, on top of it. So that's something I want to refer to. And I also want to speak about what our users are saying about this, because it's always flashy and attractive to show these disruptive and innovative technologies, but what actually gives them sense is if the users are making sense out of them, if they are actually using them, if they are asking more things of them. And that's what I want to sorry, what I want to show you. This pilot, we went into production with Alemana IA. It's in Spanish, so that's because it's IA and not AI, uh, since October 2025. And we started with a small number of users. We have not deployed this to, and it's not available to every user of our EHR, but we started with a small number, less than 50 initially, and we have been including more and more users, and now we are a bit over 250 users. And some of these users, of course, we have all kinds of use cases with them. Some users enter one time and ask a couple questions and don't come back. But there are some users that have hundreds and hundreds of conversations over the platform. So it's easy to see, and they tell us so that they have included this tool, this technology within their clinical workflow, and they use it every day. And more than that, the interest among our user base, potential user base, stays high. And we have constant requests of more clinicians to join this pilot. And so we have been including these users that tells us about their interests, because their feedback is fundamental for us to go on. It's interesting also seeing how this tool, Alemana IA, has impacted different user areas. What we envisioned initially is that the main use pattern would be by clinicians, right? Doctors, nurses, and that has happened. But we have also included users from clinical pharmacy, medical audit department, the quality unit, inpatient management unit, the unit that takes the complex decisions with inpatient patients, right? To move them between units, etc. And this tool has made a difference in how they see and interact with the clinical record, and make decisions based on available information. Before they searched for information, now they are finding it. And I think that's something very with a very high impact. Since we started in October until now, we have had an increasing number of conversations. Keeping account that we only recently reached 250 users, and this data in which I'm basing this graph is up to January 15. So now we have surpassed the amount of conversations. Those are the blue bars, the amount of conversations that we had in December. The amount of unique users entering and using the platform keeps somewhat low, but it's in line and expected with the amount of users that we have enabled in the platform. So go to the next, please, Fernando. Thank you. It's also been very interesting to know what tools are invoked by the agent, so that we can understand what are the usage patterns of our users. By far, the most called tool is the one that gets lab test results, and that's the first part that you see in this graph, right? And the next one is the one that gets free text, gets information from free evolution notes in the electronic health record. And the third part doesn't have a title because that's the case of conversations or messages that did not trigger a tool, but instead were answered entirely by the LLM in the agent. And then you have diagnostics, latest evolution nodes, available lab tests, and so on and so forth. So we have been able to identify the use cases and which tools are the ones that are adding right now more value to the agent. And that gives us an idea of where to continue improving the technology. Go to the next, please. Thank you. Recently, in December, I think, we implemented a feedback tool, a feedback function within the agent itself, so that the user can send us a like or dislike for a conversation and optionally some text commentary. And we haven't had a lot of comments on this tool, but I think it's very interesting that of the 36 in feedback interactions that we've had since we implemented that tool within the agent, we have over 97%, 35 total, positive interactions, and just one negative interaction, which was not that negative if when we see what was that about. Um, Go to the next, please, Fernando. That's it. If we summarize the comments that our users gave us in the feedback tool, of course, it shows exceptionally high acceptance with comments highlighting how useful in their clinical workflows, how accurate it was, and how it meant a difference and it was a real contribution to their daily tasks. Users perceive this tool as reliable, and that's great. That's fantastic for us. It's capable of delivering correct, complete, and detailed information about the patients that we are seeing. Of course, there are opportunities of improvement, and our users have told us so. And they are concentrated in three areas with better and more areas of integration with clinical workflows, particularly medication prescriptions workflows, more tightly integrated with presentation aspects for the tool. Um, can you hear me all right? I think it seems I'm having a
Yeah,
connection
no,
problem.
you're okay now. There was a
I
brief interruption, but
briefly
you're good now.
briefly cut you.
Ah, okay, my internet was blinking in here. Sorry. And finally, we had an isolated data consistency issue which prompted the negative comment, and which was a medical specialty was not recognized. The user asked for the clinical notes for a particular medical specialty, and the system told the user, which was the specialist, no, I don't have any information about that specialty when the user was certain that there was. But overall, and we'll fix that because that's easy to fix. But overall, the feedback reflects a high satisfaction, rapid adoption, growing expectations about what the tool can do for the clinical workflow. So we're looking at something that's already being transformative, a positively disrupting technology that's changing how we interact with electronic health records. This is something that others are doing similar things, but I like to think that what we are doing right here has some particular advantages over what we've seen so far in this aspect. Go to the next, please, Fernando. And what do you see in the future? And with this, real quick, what's next? Of course, AI will continue to be a main focus in our work because we are seeing here what Alejandro said at the beginning. We are seeing transformation potential with this technology. It's not vaporware. It's something that is already proving when implemented safely, responsibly, to be able to transform how we interact with the systems. Of course, safety and security will continue to be, are right now, and will continue to be our primary concerns. Of course, what's key is the usefulness of what we implement and solving actual clinical problems. We don't implement technology for technology's sake. We aim to be useful to our users, to solve actual problems. And we think tools like this one are going in that direction. So user involvement, of course, is a must. Not only capturing the feedback from our users, but teaching with responsible and effective usage of AI tools in clinical workflows is a responsibility, is something that we must do. Of course, evolving and enabling information systems are an ongoing effort. What Alejandro and Fernando said is that we have a very enabling aspect in our clinic. That is, we develop and maintain our own electronic health record. That makes us much more easier and much more cohesive to implement in an effective way these kinds of innovations. And this is key, and this is a commitment that our institution is keeping from here onwards, right? This has been an enabling factor. Of course, not everyone has the possibility to have a custom-made EHR, but for us, it has been a blessing. And finally, we will continue to participate in academic and divulgation endeavors. We have done joint venture opportunities with the Universidad del Desarrollo, a local university with which we have, together with Clínica Alemana, Faculty of Medicine. Our own research and academic department has helped us with some initiatives that help to diffuse, to communicate what we are doing, and getting the community to know what we are doing and get feedback and good ideas for all the community. Go to the next, please, Fernando. In instances such as this, for example, the Jornada de Inteligencia Artificial, the symposium of artificial intelligence, that we did on June of 2025, in which we had the pleasure to have Dr. Matthew with us. It was a great instance. There were 2 days in which our auditorium was almost full, and we had now we had a lot of interest from the community to show what we're doing and to get what others are doing as well. So it was a great experience, and we plan to keep doing instances like those. Also, towards the end of the year, October and November of 2025, we did this experience workshop about on AI in healthcare. It was a hands-on workshop. We had an unprecedented success with this. I think when we started planned and designed this workshop, we thought, okay, if we have 100 people enrolled, that will be great. We had over 600. So of course we are repeating that. We are doing it again and better and improved. So are the kinds of instances that we plan on keeping on doing. So that's about it, I think. I think that was the last slide. So thanks all. Very excited to be here, and let's hear your questions and have some interaction if you still have some time. Thank you.
Thank you. I think let's keep that picture up there, because that says it all. We had so much fun over there, and I'm glad we were able to come back today and get all your insights and your experience with the amazing work that you're doing shared with a larger community across the world. So thank you for that. There are a lot of questions, and that just is amazing. There are a lot of questions and comments, and thank you for addressing some of those in real time, because we just have a few minutes left. And I want to ask a common question that I can pick, or a theme that I can pick. You showed that uh, you try out a lot of different models. And what I have seen out there in terms of picking the model preference is typically people go to like some kind of a leaderboard, whether it is Helm, MedHelm, or any other leaderboard, and they'll see like, which one is doing well, and they will decide to pick the model out of that and try it out. So what's your approach to this? And related to that is also a question of cost. So does how much does the cost factor in when you're deciding about a particular model?
Fernando,
I
perhaps you can answer better, or Alejandro, the first part, I can talk about the cost part.
just I would like to just answer the models we used. We don't care too much about the benchmarks of how well does a model of a benchmark to solve math problems. We don't care, because we are not trying to implement these models to solve math. We are just implementing these models to take information from the electronic health record, shuffle it, and then have an answer to a question that the professional has, or in the next implementations, they will be inserting information into the electronic health record. Okay, so the agent will be capable of making prescriptions and show the professional. Okay, the, it's just a shortcut of bureaucracy for our main idea. It's a shortcut of bureaucracy. It's not having like the best large language model as if it was um, a database of knowledge to ask questions. Okay, we are not using it for that kind of implementations. That's why, for example, we are not using like a tool to query PubMed or to query medical books. We are using it just for more mundane purposes. Okay, so our main goal in this implementation is to lower bureaucracy.
No, that's great. I think also a lot of these models have topped out on their performance. So I'm not sure if there's incremental gain across a lot of different models. But in another few words, if I were to say that it's not mundane, I think these are the simple tasks are the best tasks. The undoing bureaucracy and making it easy for people is probably the best solution out there. So thank you for focusing on that rather than something that is like exotic but not as useful.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
before
Go ahead,
Jaime
Fernando.
steps in about the cost, just to let you in our workflows, we're like every week we're exposed to new models. At least we are, and we also considered some open source models and Llama and Mistral, and like we're with the team that is developing this, we're like on board of the wave of new LLMs each week. But at some point, first of all, you can't really test these models by yourself every week. Like we don't have nor the computational, not the human resources in order to do that. And second of all, just like Alejandro says, we actually just need the best models for that particular agent we're currently configuring at some point in time. So of course, when, for example, when we had a agent based on Claude 3.5 and then 4.0, and then Claude 4.5 came out, of course, we started testing it out with, as you saw in our playground, we said, okay, what happens if I now configure this agent that I know works based on Claude 4.0? What happens if we test it out with 4.5? And just like Dr. Matur just mentioned, some of what we've observed is that with newer models, at some point we didn't get much better returns, just more verbose answers, which mandated us to change the system prompt just in order to test those models out, and not necessarily performed better than the prior model. So for one single agent, if it's not going to be changed in the future and it's performing okay and we have already tested it, we don't really have a need to change the base LLM. And there's and now I give it over to Jaime so that he can talk about costs.
Yeah, thank you, Fernando. The costs so far, even with this limited reach that we've had with Alemana AI, have not been outrageous or exaggerated at all. It has been very reasonable. And we have seen that the costs are related to the token usage, of course, within the LLMs. And they tend to scale linearly as you add users. So we have projected the best and worst case scenarios as when we open the tool to all of our users, and we think it can stay under control completely. At least I have shared these projections with our CTO, and he's not on my neck about this about the costs. So I think we're good. And still, if a lot of users are using the tool and triggering more and more usage, it's kind of a happy problem because it means it's solving an actual problem for us, for them. And that means that we are getting better information to treat and diagnose our patients. We are able to make better decisions if the users are actively using the tool. So anyway, with our predictions, the costs are within expectations. They are not outrageous. They're not out of control.
That's great. And thank you for your insights there. I know we are about time. I do want to address this important question that was in there. And the rest of the conversation you can probably carry out on LinkedIn, or people can feel free to reach out to you guys. Uh, Training, user training. How do you address that, especially at a large institution which has a diverse workforce? Uh, diverse user groups. How do you address that?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, and that's one in which we are actively working towards this. We are working on a formation and education program for our clinical users, for all of our users, about the correct and safe use of AI within clinical contexts. And how are we addressing that? We are preparing courses within our corporative education platform that will be available to all of our users. And we have, since we are doing a controlled and limited pilot, it has been easier because we can kind of provide so far personalized education to our users. But since we are approaching and we have the clearance to very soon open this tool to all of our users. That's under the condition that we have a correct education and diffusion program for all of our users, and we will do that using our institutional formation and education platforms, our e-learning platforms. But that will have a structured a program to safekeep those 2 points: safe and effective use of AI technologies, including Alemana AI and others as well, because this is something that is rapidly evolving. Clinical users don't know these tools. They use them even the ones that we give them, and the ones that they use by their own account. And so we have an obligation to provide a formation program. We are working on that.
That's great.
And we also believe that usability is one of the main educators. Okay, if the software is really usable, it's easy to implement instructions there, or how can you use it. Sometimes the education it's in the tool itself, and that's one of the things that have had to work with our implementations.
In fact, when you start for the first time the Alemana IA tool, it shows you 5 slides, 5 very short slides highlighting the main aspects for using it in a secure and safe way.
That's great. Well, we are about time, and there are still quite a few questions. What I would recommend to the audience is please follow us. There are all these mediums through which you can follow us. Please connect with Fernando, Alejandro, Amy through LinkedIn, and I'm sure they will be happy to address your questions or find their emails and email them. They'll be happy to do that. Reach out to me. I'll be happy to connect you with them too. But again, amazing work. I don't know of many places who can boast of implementing AI agents at the pace and the scale that they have done, and you guys are truly the leaders in this space. So congratulations for the amazing work, the live demo, the amazing presentation. With that, we'll come to an end. Follow us, and we will bring you more. Have a great year. Take care. Bye.